Good evening. Good evening. Let us settle, not to add one more phrase to the already crowded shelf of phrases, but to enter the silence in which truth reveals itself. Words are auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. You know this because you have spoken many fine sentences and found the ground still dry. You have circled the same manifestation mountain with new mantras and found the scenery strangely unchanged. And so you have come weary, perhaps, of the treadmill, quietly ready to stop pushing and begin beholding. I am not here to perform, and you are not here to be entertained. We are here to rest in presence. In my work, my conversation in times of need is usually limited to this: I will help you. That is not performance, it is presence. It is a willingness to stand by in consciousness until the still small voice speaks and proves itself, not with fireworks, but with fruitage. Be still and know that I am God. Do you see? Not be loud and convince God. Not be clever and construct a ladder of syllables to climb into heaven. Be still. We will use words tonight, yes, because we must prime the pump. But we will treat each word as a bell that calls us to awareness, not as a lever that forces reality to change its mind. There is a vast difference. In Him we live and move and have our being. If that is so, and it is, then we do not manufacture God's presence with syllables. We awaken to what already is. The simplest sentence can open a window. The prettiest speech can shut a door. Do you follow that? I know the fatigue of trying to speak your way into health, into supply, into peace. I know the seduction of a new formula that promises to manifest what appears absent. But what if nothing of God is absent? What if the practice is not acquisition but recognition? Our measure is not the beauty of words, but the birth of results, by your life experience, by the fruitage. If harmony increases, if problems dissolve more quickly, if fear begins to loosen its grip, then you have touched presence. If not, then perhaps words have taken the front seat and presence is still waiting at the door. Tonight I ask only this: bring your listening, not your effort. Bring your willingness to be simple. Bring any weariness and place it beside you like an empty cup. We are not here to glorify words. We are here to rest in the living isness of God. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear it within yourself. Hear it within the one beside you. Let that hearing be our altar. Let the proof be our offering. Let us proceed gently, without strain, until the silence speaks and the fruitage appears. Let us be clear, kindly but unmistakably clear, about why affirmations so often fail. They fail when they are used as mental force, an attempt by the human mind to manufacture what only God is. That is the letter without life. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. Do you see? When we grip a phrase as if it were a lever to pry open heaven, we have already confessed separation. We have said, in effect, God is elsewhere. Supply is absent. Health is outside me. Peace is distant. I will now speak them into existence. That very premise guarantees strain because it is untrue from the beginning. You do not try to make 2 and 2 become 4 by saying 4 louder and faster. You rest in the fact that it is 4. In the same way, truth does not become true because you repeat it. It is true because God is. I am that I am. Mechanical repetition, then, does not open a door. It rattles the handle. It agitates the mind precisely at the moment stillness is the only gate. Our Master warned us, when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, thinking they shall be heard for their much speaking. Do you follow that? A sentence can be a lamp, but if you swing it like a club, it ceases to illumine and begins to bruise. There is another harm in formula speech. It antagonizes suffering when offered as a shield of cliches. I have been at bedsides where a quick mouth said, "There are no accidents in divine mind," while the hearer winced not only from pain, but from being unseen. I resent it very much when people start voicing truth at me in a crisis. My conversation in such moments is usually limited to, "I will help you." Why? Because presence heals, platitude scolds. Be not rash with thy mouth, says Ecclesiastes, for God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Let the heart be soft. Let words be few. Another mistake. Confusing emotion with realization. A stirring phrase can lift the spirits for an hour. It is not a demonstration. A tear is not proof. A quiver is not God appearing. Fruitage is the measure. If the problem is being quickly and gently solved, if harmony increases and fear loosens, if supply flows in its quiet order and health reappears as natural as dawn, then truth has been realized. If, after the glow, conditions remain stubborn and anxiety returns, you have had an emotional jag, not God realization. Be honest with yourself, not to condemn, but to be free. So, what then? Cease trying to change appearances with words. Drop the battle, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. Let the truth reveal the is that already is, not as an argument, but as beholding, not by pushing, but by yielding. Peace, be still. Let a simple statement, clean, unforced, prime the pump, and then put your hand off the handle. The sun does not need you to tug the curtains. You have only to draw them back. In like manner, God does not come because you call loudly. God is. And in the hush of receptive awareness, God appears as you, as the situation, as harmony fulfilled. Do you see? When the letter serves the spirit, words become a bell that summons realization, and realization proves itself by fruitage. Let us reduce the many to the few. The infinite way is built around a few words. The first of these words is as. The second is. If you will let these two take root, they will carry you through storms without fanfare and deliver you to quiet shores with fruitage. Do you see? As God is manifest as individual being. God the invisible appears as Son the visible. I and the Father are one, not two, hoping to agree. One. Therefore, identity ceases to be a private project and becomes revelation. The light does not arrive from outside. It announces itself as you. Not a human you swelling into importance, but God appearing as you. Your integrity, your compassion, your quiet competence, your very life breath. The Master could say, "He that hath seen me hath seen the Father," not as boast, but as fact. And the voice that spoke at Jordan still speaks in the sanctuary of your own awareness. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear that within yourself, then hear it within the one across the table, across the street, across the world, as dissolve separation before we so much as start a prayer. Do you follow that? Is. We live in present isness. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Abundance is. Omnipresence is. I am. We are not drafting reality with syllables. We are witnessing what already. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are recognizing it as 4. So it is with health, with supply, with peace. They are not summoned. They are realized. Before they call, I will answer. That is the pulse of is. When we cease to argue, cease to insist, the fact stands revealed like a mountain when the fog lifts. It was there before our description and will remain after our speech has tired. Now, behold, instead of assert, inwardly bear witness. This is my beloved Son. Say it within, not to convince, but to see. See back of the eye. Unsee the human good that flatters and the human evil that frightens, and behold the one, life appearing as this one. Words may begin the seeing, but the seeing completes itself without them. Here is the progression and the promise. We begin with a letter to prime the pump, few clean recognitions of as and is. Then we mature into spirit, where truth speaks itself within us. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth my life. In that inner impartation, outcomes are quiet, sure, and without strain. And the only message we need to send to the world is the one God is already expressing as us. Shift from getting to recognizing. Rest there, and let the proof be your life. By your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Now, having seen as and is, we must be very clear about what we are not fighting. We are not contending with a person, a law, or a condition. We are not healing a somebody or correcting a something. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, says the apostle, but against suggestion, mesmerism, the universal belief in 2 powers. Scripture calls it the arm of flesh. With him is an arm of flesh. With us is the Lord our God. Do you see? The moment you grant personality to the trouble, you have armed it. The instant you name a second power, you have kneeled to it. Error is not substance. It is a suggestion believed. When the belief is unmasked as nothing, it cannot frighten. It cannot bind. Consider the snake in the rope. In the dim light, you jump. Heart pounds. Breath shortens. But when a lamp is brought, nothing is changed but your seeing. The rope remains rope. Fear dissolves, not by conquest, but by discovery. Or think of the non-existent white poodle you are sure you saw scurry into the room. You call it, search for it, speak to it. Then, in a clear moment, you realize there never was a poodle. Do you follow that? You do not chase it out. You drop the claim. Or the streetcar tracks that seem to meet at the horizon. No argument needed, no effort demanded. A step forward reveals the fact. So it is with error. It seems. It suggests. It is not. When light enters, the drama ends by itself. Therefore, on contact, at the ring of the telephone, the flash of a symptom, the notice in the mail, give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Do not argue with it. Resist not evil. Stand still. Behold the one. Let the inner word move. This is my beloved Son, not an afflicted mortal to be fixed, but God appearing as individual being, and isness undisturbed. As you impersonalize, the false claimant has no mouth to speak, no hands to grasp, no law to enforce. Fear unclenches. Breath returns to its unlabored rhythm. The knot loosens of itself because there is no rope around the neck, only the memory of a dream. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is the recognition of as and is in the face of suggestion. I do not say this to make light of pain. I say it to illumine its pretensions. The master shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, nor reprove after the hearing of his ears. He looked through. He beheld the Father where others counted fevers and failures. When you refuse the bait of personality and condition, you are no longer a combatant. You are a witness. And witness is authority. If God be for us, who can be against us? No one. Because there is no against in one. Let that be your stance. Quiet, impersonal, unwavering. Then watch by your life experience, by the fruitage, how suggestion, exposed as nothing, ceases to suggest. Do you see? Now, let us pause and face the one test that frees you from self-deception. Fruitage. By their fruits ye shall know them, not by eloquence, not by intensity of feeling, not by dreams, visions, or spiritual fireworks, by your life experience, by the fruitage. If, as you practice impersonalizing error and resting in as and is, the conditions of your days begin to take on a quiet order, if problems that once sprawled for months now resolve almost before you can tell the story, if health reappears without drama, if supply comes on time and without bargaining with the universe, if relationships uncoil and the air in your home is easier to breathe, then you may be sure you have touched realization. The truth, apprehended, demonstrates itself. Do you see? If, on the other hand, the glow of a meeting or a phrase lifts you for an evening, but leaves you in the same maze by morning, if your words grow stronger but your outcomes do not, if the strain intensifies and peace remains a guest and not a resident, be honest, that is an emotional jag, not God realized. Do not condemn yourself. Do not defend yourself. Simply return to the standard. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Where spirit is doing the work, there is effortlessness in the outcome, even when there is discipline in the practice. Let results shepherd your choices. Pride in a polished statement is a poor shepherd. Humility that adjusts is a safe one. If a sentence you love does not open the inner door, lay it down. If talking much to a sufferer brings no easing, talk less. My conversation in crisis is usually limited to, I will help you, and then I stand by in consciousness until the inner word speaks. Let fruitage, not fondness for a method, guide you. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord. If a way you cherish does not prove, let it rest until it does. Make for yourself a quiet audit, not of declarations, but of demonstrations. Each week, ask, what softened without argument? Where did ease appear? Where strain had held? Which bills were met without manipulation? Which symptoms faded as soon as I ceased to fear a person and recognized God appearing as the individual? How many calls ended with peace? Not because I won an argument, but because presence was felt. This is not bookkeeping. It is bearing witness. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, leaves a trace continuity, gentleness, order. Take this as your rule. Let fruitage validate truth. When harmony appears, bow and be grateful. When it tarries, bow and be teachable. In either case, stay with the isness of God and the as of identity. Keep your words few, your listening deep, and let outcomes answer your questions by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you follow that? Let us be very simple now and very exact. Stage 1 is conscious, knowing, brief recognitions at natural hinges of the day that turn attention from argument to presence. Upon waking, before the world rushes in. Let a clean sentence lift the shade. Harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is, omnipresence is, I am. Do not argue it. Acknowledge it. Like recognizing that 2 times 2 is 4, you are not forcing a result. You are noticing a fact. Be still and know that I am God. 1 or 2 breaths, then rise. Before meals, not as ritual, but as recentering, let the same light touch the table. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Not to bless food as if God were absent from it, but to behold isness in the very act of eating. Supply is, life is, gratitude is. Do you see? We are not using words to pull heaven into the room. We are letting them open the inner door to what already fills the room. At money matters, bills, budgeting, giving refuse, the old habit of bargaining with the universe. Pause, look through appearances, and quietly know. Abundance is, law is, order is. All that the Father hath is mine. Not mine, the human claimant. Mine, the Son, God, appearing as the activity and integrity of this very transaction. Keep it brief. Let the sentence be a bell, not a lecture. Then act normally, responsibly, but without fear's counsel. In travel, at the threshold, at the curb, at the gate, stop a heartbeat and know omnipresence is. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? There are not dangerous places and safe places in one. There is one, appearing as here and there, God appearing as me. I and the Father are one. Step forward. Identity must be included, or your sentences remain external, in the morning mirror. God appearing as me, not to inflate a mortal, but to remove the fiction of separation. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear it within. Carry it without display. Now, the guardrails. Do not turn these clean recognitions into speeches for others, least of all the suffering. Keep your words to yourself. If called to a bedside or a troubled phone, my conversation is usually limited to, I will help you. Then I stand by in consciousness. Prime the pump. Do not splash the room. Platitudes bruise. Presence heals. The aim here is not to stack phrases, but to quiet the argumentative mind and orient attention toward what is already true. 5, 10, or 20 times a day. No set number. Let a single unforced statement reset the compass. Harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is, omnipresence is, I am. Then hush. Go on with your duty. You will notice the air inside becomes less crowded, the edges of fear less sharp. That is the pump taking water. Do you follow that? We are training the inner ear to expect is and to recognize as. Shortly, the words will grow fewer and the hearing deeper. For now, keep the letter light, clean, and obedient to its one purpose. Prepare the heart for spirit, that fruitage may appear without strain. Now the second stage. Having let the letter prepare the heart, we enter the closet and shut the door. No performance, no speech. Sit still. Let thought fall like leaves in late afternoon. No effort to think God. Let God announce God. Be still and know that I am God. Do you see? We do not drop into vacancy. We rest into presence. The activity here is receptivity. At first, you will notice the mind reaching for a sentence as a child reaches for a familiar toy. Smile inwardly and lay it down. Breathe. Wait. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. If a phrase rises of itself, let it sound and fade like a bell. If nothing rises, do not supply it. The signature of this shift is simple. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth my life. Your major activity becomes receiving, not declaring, beholding, not manufacturing. It is not passivity. It is alert, vibrant listening. What arrives is not always words. More often, it is a felt isness assurance without argument, like the quiet knowledge that 2 times 2 is 4. No thrill is needed. Fireworks are not the measure. A soft certainty steals in. God is. Omnipresence is. This is my beloved Son. In that stillness, the restlessness loosens. The temperature of fear drops. The breath smooths out without your telling it to. Then, if words appear, they are given, and you will know the difference. Given words bear authority without volume, tenderness without sentiment. They do not try, they are. My sheep hear my voice. Do you follow that? Test what you hear. Spirit's guidance never agitates, never flatters the ego, never incites haste or display. The wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, easy to be entreated. If a direction arrives and your inner climate turns brittle, if it makes you big in your own eyes or urgent to prove yourself, set it aside. That is letter posing as spirit. On the other hand, when instruction is real, fruitage follows without strain. Doors open in their own hour. The call returns with ease. The body unwinds. The bill meets its date without a wrestling match. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Make this a daily sacrament. Several times upon waking, before duty, after the phone call, sit 3 minutes in the interior, hush, say little or nothing. Behold as and rest in is. If someone asks for help, let your outer words be few. I will help you and turn within. Stand by in consciousness until the still small voice Elijah's whisper, not the wind or the quake or the fire speaks or simply settles you into that felt isness. Then go about your business. Let the proof be the quiet outcome by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? This is maturity. From speaking truth to truth speaking you. Fieldwork is simply the same order lived in the street, at the desk, across the table. Do not complicate it. Every time, in every arena, impersonalize. Realize as and is. Receive, then let fruitage appear. Do you see? We do not argue with appearances. We do not rehearse the fear, and we do not lash truth to the prow of a storming ship. We stand, we behold, we wait for that quiet click of peace, and then we act from it. In returning unrest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Health first. The body is the visibility of life. It is not a private machine you oil with affirmations. It is life revealing itself as form. When a symptom presents or a call for help comes, give not a thought to a person or a condition. Drop it. This is not a body to be repaired. This is mesmerism claiming reality the arm of flesh. Refuse the bait. Stand still. Within, behold, God appearing as individual being. This is my beloved Son, whole now, because life is. He sent his word and healed them. Not a battle word, a being word. Cease fighting symptoms. Stop staring at the rope as if it were a snake. Let the inner assurance rise until the breath lengthens and the fear temperature drops. That click is the sign. Then go about your duty normally, kindly, without anxious checking. Fruitage will bear witness. Ease returns. Function normalizes. Rest restores. If any outward step appears natural from that peace, a phone call, a walk, a glass of water, do it without drama. The healing is in the realized isness, not in the motion. Supply is the same order. Shift from getting to expressing. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. All that I have, not some day. Now, recognize as God appearing as you skill, integrity, usefulness, right timing. Recognize as abundance is, law is, order is. From that recognition, opportunities appear not as favors dropped from outside, but as your own being unfolding. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Rest until the inner climate clears. Then act naturally. Finish the work before you. Answer the email with excellence. Invest in the next right thing without grasping. You will find doors open of themselves. Accounts align without bargaining, and provision meets date as quietly as dawn meets horizon. That is fruitage. Relationship is no different. Unsee human good that flatters and human evil that accuses. Look back of the eye. Behold the Christ of God in this one friend or foe. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Judge not according to appearance. Let suggestion lose its mouth. Where offense seemed, hypnotism claimed two powers. Drop it. Rest until love, not sentiment, but presence announces itself. Then, from that peace, words may be given. A simple apology, a gentle no, a yes, without fear. Sometimes silence is given, sometimes a boundary, sometimes embrace. You will know by the absence of strain. The wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable. Fruitage will tell you, the air brightens, conversation softens, or the separation resolves without bitterness. Do you follow that? Take this as your field rule. Do not argue with the surface. Impersonalize. Realize as and is. Wait for the click of peace. Then act out of that peace and let outcomes answer your questions. By your life experience, by the fruitage, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Ministry, rightly understood, is a quiet thing. When the call comes midnight, noon, or in the grocery aisle, keep your speech spare. My conversation is usually limited to this: I will help you. Then I stand by in consciousness. No lecture, no parade of truths, no eager recital of principles. He shall not strive, nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. Do you see? The Christ heals without commotion. Presence does the persuading. Words, when needed, conclude. God especially, against the habit of platitude. There are no accidents in divine mind, said to a trembling mother. Is not comfort. It is vanity dressing as wisdom. I resent it very much when truth is voiced at a sufferer to shield the speaker from feeling. A bruised reed needs gentleness, not slogans. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench. If you must speak, let it be tender and few. I will help you. Then turn within. Let silence carry what sentences cannot. Minister invisibly. Hold the beholding. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Behold God appearing as this individual. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Remain with that until peace registers, until the inner climate shifts, breath eases, the fear temperature drops. Often they will feel it without your saying a word. Safety is a language the heart understands. Perfect love casteth out fear. Let them rest in that love. You will know if an outward word is given by its gentleness and absence of strain. Set boundaries with yourself. Refuse spiritual showmanship. You are not there to impress the room or to create a reputation. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Enter thy closet and shut the door. This work is holy secrecy. Its proof is fruitage, not applause. Resist the itch to explain your process or to gather witnesses. Presence persuades. Words conclude. When the still small voice has spoken, it leaves peace, not spectacle. Practice the order in every call. The phone rings. You listen, and you answer simply, I will help you. Hang up if that is appropriate. Stay quiet if you remain. Turn within. Impersonalize. This is not a person or a condition. It is suggestion, the arm of flesh, nothingness. Recognize as God appearing as individual being. Recognize is, harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is. Wait for the click of peace. If an instruction is given, rest. Call the doctor. Take a walk. Let it be simple and free of drama. Be still and know that I am God. Then let fruitage tell the tale. This is our service ethic. Fewer words, deeper presence. Let thy words be few, says Ecclesiastes. And comfort ye, my people, says Isaiah. Comfort is not noise. It is God felt. So we stand by in consciousness, quietly, faithfully, until the isness of God proves itself. By your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you follow that? I will help you. That is enough. Maturity is not a higher decibel. It is a quieter baseline. The mark is identity stabilized. God appearing as you at breakfast, at the desk, on the phone, in the night watch. You do not reach for presence as rescue. You live from isness as atmosphere. Harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is, I am. Do you see? This does not announce itself with trumpets. It shows itself by a lightness in ordinary hours, a steadying that requires no announcement. In him we live and move and have our being. When that is more than recital, when it is climate, you find yourself less surprised by grace and more at home in it. Another sign is continuity over crisis. Fewer spikes of fear, fewer peaks and valleys, more unlabored, unheralded demonstrations. Things come right without fanfare. The check meets the date with no story attached. The ache that once demanded a vigil now unwinds before you finish your tea. Conversations that used to scorch now pass as summer rain. No medals are pinned. Fruitage speaks. By their fruits ye shall know them. Your life begins to whisper, not shout, that God is the only presence and power. Do you follow that? Your practice finds its rhythm. Brief letter to center, one clean sentence that primes the pump and longer listening to receive. Let spirit choose whether there is a word at all. Often the best ministry is the hush that enfolds a room. If a word is given, it is given. You will feel its lightness, its lack of strain. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Hearing becomes your craft. This is maturity. From speaking truth to truth. Speaking you, I live, yet not I, Christ liveth my life. And when relapse knocks, because habits echo, do not dramatize the echo. Impersonalize at once. Only suggestion. The arm of flesh. Nothingness. Simplify. As and is. Prime the pump. Return to the listening. Be still and know that I am God. Stay with it until the click of peace. Do not scold yourself. Do not make a project of failure. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is simple, daily, hourly if needed. Small obediences, few words, much beholding, fidelity, not fireworks. Gratitude seals the circuit, not the noisy thanks that tries to convince, but the quiet amen of the heart. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let that be heard within you and within the one before you. It is thanksgiving without bargaining, praise without performance. In everything give thanks, for thanks is the signature that the realization has run its full course and returned to source. So live not as a seeker tugging at heaven, but as God appearing as you, abiding in isness through disciplined receptivity. Keep your words few, your listening deep. Let ongoing fruitage speak your sermon by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Thank you.